Hello and good week, and this is Joseph from KILT BEARD CO, and this is the Weekend Flex. So today I'm trying some Angles Envy, and it's one of those very well priced bourbons that you can get, and it's quite popular with the younger crowd. And I just wanted to go through it, share some with you guys here, and let's get this weekend started. So if I can pop this top off here, it's like it's resealed itself or something. There you go. And yeah, so from Kentucky, it's a well-priced bottle, I think, accordingly. It's got a nice little maple amber peach looking color. It's really cool. It's got these wings on the back. So nice little touch. See if you can see that at an angle. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, straight bourbon, and from Kentucky. So cheers. Maple and vanilla right off the bat. It's kind of got that energetic first sip, like it gets you a little excited, and no burn. At least I don't get no burn, and burn depends on how often and what types of whiskeys, scotches, bourbons that you drink. But yeah, no, it tastes really good. You really get the like I said, I get the from nose to palate, I get the maple and vanilla, so it tastes really good. So this is finished in port barrels, and to the nose, you get some vanilla, raisins, maple syrup, and toasted nuts. The first sip I 100% get the vanilla and maple syrup. On the palate, it says that you're supposed to get vanilla, ripe fruit, maple syrup, and some bitter chocolate. I probably would have to taste it here, a few more times to see if I can get that bitter chocolate. But I can see where the fruit can come in. It's kind of like right in between that vanilla and syrup, like taste right there. And so it's 43.3 alcohol BV, or 86.6 proof, so you just double it. It's a little bit about Angles Envy if you've never tried them before, if you want to learn more. So Angles Envy is Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in port wine barrels. It's unlike any other bourbon you've tried. Aged for 6 years. It's kind of below my standard, but for the price right there, it's pricey for a 6-year, but for the flavor that you're getting, and I think it's well priced. But for the year, I don't think it's, or the rarity of it, I don't think it's well priced. However, so it's aged 4 to 6 years in New American white oak barrels. They finish it in the bourbon for up to 6 additional months in port casks. So they do some kind of transfer. I'd be kind of interested what that transfer looks like, or how they move things around, because air and just whatever else gets involved with that. I would be curious what that process is. It's imported also from the Douro region of Portugal. So this versatile flavor profile can be enjoyed neat, on the rocks, or in a cocktail. It says it has golden color. I completely agree. Laced with reddish amber hues, and it's nearly like a copper tone. So yeah, so I kind of described it in 3 different ways in my own version, and it's not one distinct color. It's kind of interesting what that color is. Let's see, that color is kind of interesting how the light hits it right there. So this enhances the whiskey without challenging it. And overall, it's a really good bourbon, just a general really good bourbon. And if you're looking for a new bourbon, or you haven't tried Angles Envy in a while, you give it a shot. So built on a tremendous legacy and a pioneering spirit, Angles Envy innovated the foundations of bourbon and rye through a unique secondary finishing technique. By maturing our whiskey in charred oak barrels, they then transfer it to a secondary finishing casket. We crafted a distinct blend of refined complexity with inviting flavor profiles. So they're really going for the flavor profiles at the second part of this whole entire thing, or the process. And during the ongoing process, the 5% of spirit loss each year is known as the Angel Share. And I'll get to that in a second here. And after tasting of their finished whiskey, Lincoln, who is the master distiller who founded Angels Envy, joked that we had finally struck a better deal than the Angels, and so Angels Envy was born. So a little bit more about Angels Share, what is technically called. It's largely the smell that when you go into these houses where they're holding all these barrels, you get this smell, basically. And it comes from the breathing of the barrels. And depending on where you are in the levels, etc. like that, you're going to get different smells because of the humidity, like we've talked about, heat, cold, the elevation, things like that will all play into effect. So the breathing of the barrels, the slow exchange of air and liquid that steals away whiskey at the rate of up to 5% a year is what the distillers call the Angel Share. So it goes up to the heavens. It's the Angel Share. A barrel breathing is one of the basic elements of whiskey maturation. Without this exchange, the whiskey simply will not mature properly. So the whole entire thing is that unique balance of not too much, but not too little, because you want it to age and get to whatever the master distiller's goal is, but you also don't want to over evaporate, and then yes, you may be able to charge more, it may be more rare because there's less of it, but that doesn't necessarily make it good too, as we've explained in the past. So yeah, so really cool story. Angels Envy, like I said, give it a shot this weekend if you've never tried it before. And if you have tried it before, what are your thoughts on Angels Envy? Does it meet your standards when it comes to a bourbon? I think I would rate this probably about 6.5 or 7 out of 10 for my standards. I think it's good. It's a good weekend one, but it's not one that it's not my top shelf. Even though some people may consider it a mid to top shelf, I don't consider this a top shelf one. But yeah, so what are you drinking this weekend? I'd love to hear it. Throw it down in the comments here. And once again, cheers to the weekend, guys. So turn this GoPro off. So yeah, so what are you drinking this week? And I'd like to hear it. Let's see if there's anything new out there that the crowd gravitates towards these days, and I'd like to try them if I haven't tried them before, or just bring it on here and give my honest opinion. And like Angels Envy here, it's good. To me, it's not great, but I definitely would not pass it down, if that makes sense. So if you have a moment, let's transition here. If you could just hit the subscribe, give some likes. I know all these channels will say how much this helps them, but this really does help, especially a new channel or a newer channel grow, and we would appreciate that love right there. So move this bottle over just a little bit so I have some functioning room. So like every weekend, we check out the watch flex. So what am I flexing this week? So I'm doing the Omega Seamaster 300m Diver in green, and I've gone through this in detail, but because it's a new channel and I want to get people interested in watches, I also like to share new things about watches, like on a regular basis. So This watch is awesome. It's probably, like secretly one of my favorite watches. I've had it for just under a year now. I got it last year in June. It's kind of like a birthday present to myself. And I waited about a year to get it at the time because it was pretty new at the time. I think it came out in 2002 or 22, excuse me, 2022. So the green bezel, if you haven't heard it before and you'll hear it again, is beautiful. It's dark green, and in certain light conditions, it's a brighter dark green. Then it goes down to almost a black. So you kind of got these transitions in light and shade. That's really, just really cool. It makes you want to stare at the watch on a regular basis, honestly. Especially if you're out there just, drinking your coffee or sipping your cocktail, and you just want to be mesmerized by, such a piece of art, honestly. This is a masterpiece with the waves in the back there. It's just so cool. I'm a fan of the healing escape valve, which is right here. So I'll show you real quick. So Omega has this helium escape valve right here that they're known for. Some people think it's ugly, some people think it's out of place. But honestly, if you didn't have this here, it would just look like your typical diver watch that has copied the Submariner over the past, I don't know, 70, 80 years. So I think it's really cool that it distinguishes it from your typical diver. And a screw down crown right here, and open case back and back, which is really cool. So if you ever just want to take it off and look at the back and look at the internal part of it all, you can get that also. But yeah, so right now it kind of looks black when I go like this, and then you go like this, it's kind of green. And I do like the date on the bottom at the 6 o'clock. I'm starting to come to enjoy watches with dates other than the 3 o'clock. It's a matter of preference for everybody, but it just seems like it makes aesthetically more sense for some reason. I don't know, that's just in my head. But what do you think about the Omega Seamaster? Do you own one? Would you like to own one? Is this on your wish list? Pros and cons about Omega. I don't want, the Seiko crowd and you got the Omega crowd. You got the Rolex crowd. We can all just love each other, right? But I think one thing, once we really break things down, that this watch is top one, top two dive watches, especially for its price point. I think this was like $5,600 at the time. You can't get a better dive watch for the money, in my opinion. There may be some Seikos that are close, but I still think that this watch still tops them all. So a little bit more about this watch. So between the lugs, it's 20 millimeters. Lug to lug case measurement is 49.9 millimeters. Thickness and the open case measurement is 13.6 millimeters, so it's a little bit on the thicker side. The case diameter, opens case measurement, is about 42 millimeters, so it's 42 mil, which to me is the sweet spot for most men, for most people. This is can be worn by both sexes. The case is open case. It's or open case back. It's made of steel. It's self-winding. Power reserve 55 hours. I think it'd be nice to have like the 70-hour power reserve. I think that's plausible to do, especially when some tutors are getting there. At below the same price point, I think a 70-hour power reserve is very attainable from like Omega in general, and that should be incorporated into their watches. So yeah, a great watch. I also got the rubber strap, and once again, I enjoy wearing the bracelets. in the winter because it's cooler, and I don't know, just it feels better on my wrist when I'm wearing it. But I also have the green rubber strap. I'm not sure if I've shown the green rubber strap yet, but I definitely will this summer. So stay tuned for that. But there are many color options that you can get with this watch. You also can get the black, you can get the white, the green like this. There's a blue that came out last year. Actually looks very attractive. I haven't seen it up close and personal, but it looked really neat. I think it was their it looked like their blue summer edition or something like that. And the No Time to Die brown titanium, which I do have in my collection, and I will share that in a future episode. That is actually, so that makes two 300 mil divers that I have, but they're both as same as they are. They're completely different. From going titanium on the No Time to Die to the steel on this one, the brown, the bezel on the No Time to Die, it completely glows with its aluminum, so it's a completely different watch, but it's still in the same umbrella family. And that's what Omega generally is good about doing, is creating all these choices to really capture what you want. So if you don't know and you don't follow the watch world like I do, they just came out with a Speedmaster, or they're coming out with a Speedmaster with a white dial. It's got a little bit of splash of the red in there. And I was looking at the 1957, a previous version of the Speedmaster Professional, and I'm going to keep my eye on this one. I also like the Tokyo 2020, which is a limited edition. I like the red bezel. I thought that was really cool. And just going to stay tuned to that, keep my eye on opportunities out there, and see if the stars align and get a new watch. But well, what are you flexing this week? I'd love to hear it. Other than a smart watch, which they all have their time and place for it, but to me, a watch is a watch, a timepiece is a timepiece, and when you have to rely on your phone and your wrist device for communication, it takes the whole ideal watch for me. And they're just so fun, and it shares that little bit of sophistication. It shows a little bit of knowledge. It shows that you have a hobby. It also shows that you have an interest in horology and you respect time. And the art that goes into it, and the attention to detail to many of these things and what they think about, and the story behind like many of these timepieces is really cool to dig into. And it makes you appreciate what you're wearing more than just, oh, I can change the pictures all the time, or I'm going to stare at it and just look at my text messages all the time. And like I said, there are some times and places for that. Specifically for me, if I were to be wearing one, which I have a G-Shock, and it's between a digital and analog, that it does connect to my Bluetooth, so so to that respect, it's not a true watch. But I also got it for two reasons, because you can just bang the thing around. So if you're working outdoors in the mud and everything, and it's called the G-Shock Mud, by the way, you just can bang that thing around and it's just going to keep on going. Also, with that watch, it has a navigation capabilities, I guess you want to call it, on the watch that helps you if, when you're out hunting, fishing, and things like that, and hiking. So I usually use that watch for those purposes, and then I just wear my regular watches like this for just my everyday use. But yeah, the Omega Seamaster. If you're looking for a dive watch and you want to jump into the luxury watch world and you want to find somewhere to start, I'd start at Seiko, and then I'd go straight to the Omega, and then go from there. There's other awesome watches out there also, but in my opinion, the best bang for your buck, and with a lot of historic relevance to the watch and a good heritage to it, I would definitely go that way. Thoughts? Omega dive watches. Are you on the fence trying to take that plunge into the watch world and ditch, or at least split the time, if you will, with your smartwatch and try a manual, automatic, even a quartz watch, even to get you started? I think that you should make that that leap right there. I don't think you will be disappointed. So this weekend, or this last weekend, went to the Salt Lake Off-Road Expo and had a great time. Myself, Victor, and Dakota were there just rocking it out, having wonderful conversations with new customers, existing customers, and onlookers alike. And the whole show went on really well, and we just enjoyed the whole entire time. There was a really good vibes. All the vendors were awesome in general, and when I mean in general, I didn't get to meet all the vendors. I'm sure they were all lovely, but the ones that I met were awesome. And one vendor that I bumped into was the Normandy Knives company right here. And you may have seen this on my social media. And it comes in the box like this. So the funny thing is that I was talking to Victor as I walked around and did my my observation, see if I wanted to stop by any booths later on in the night when it gets close to closing, when things start dying down. And I go, hey Victor, there's a knife tent over there. You might want to go check it out. And he likes knives, so he and Dakota go there to look at it, and he comes back, smile from ear to ear, saying, "I got me a knife." I'm like, "Sorry, man, I didn't expect you to actually get a knife." And he was talking them up and everything. And the next day, Victor and I were going to go back over there, and I was going to look at the knives, because I thought his looked really cool, but I wanted something a little bit larger, see if they had that there, and they did. So I settled with the Griffin a knife here, or the Ultralight, the Griffin Ultralight. And it's got a carbon coating on the outside, which is going to help with rusting. What's really unique with this one, to me, it fits very comfortably in the hand, as you can see. And spring assist, like this. And I enjoy the serrated knife because, to me, that just means the knife has more functionality, and I like to get things with as much functionality as possible. And you go down, and it goes back down. Also has a window breaker and a little bit of tie down here. So tie down, how I use a tie down, it's kind of unique. So when I go hunting or fishing or anywhere, I usually will get like 550 cord or some kind of hard string, something that we did in the military all the time, that we would tie certain important things down to, like our belt loops, or even a D-ring or something like that, so that if it fell out, or if we got into the thick of things, that it would just hang from you, it wouldn't fall down and be lost. But yeah, a cool knife, very light. It says it's like 5.4 ounces, like, for this knife, which is ridiculously light. And yeah, no, it's just an awesome knife. So I want to give a shout out to the Normandy Knife Company. The guys were awesome over there, and then Dakota decided to go over there too, and he got one himself. So all three of us got a knife, and yeah, cool interaction, cool company, local here in Utah, out of Provo. So if you're interested in a new knife and you want to check them out, I'll leave the link down at the bottom. And the link is not really an affiliate link. It's just if somebody goes on there, I may get the potential to get another knife too. So great work of a knife, really cool concept, really good design, and awesome knife. So a little bit more about the knife and the details for you guys who are really knife geeks out there. The blade comes as standard in a D2 stainless steel. It also says D2 on the actual steel too. With a drop point blade with your choice of serrated or non-serrated edges. So you have both options. The handle is black ultralight, anodized aluminum with red switch on mine. There is a belt clip, which I think is awesome. You need a belt clip for ease of carrying, as well as glass break for safety. It's double action out the front OTF knife. Blade is 3.75 inches. It's 5.4 ounces in weight. The handle length is in total 5.75 inches. So that means that the knife, when the blade's extended, is 9.6 inches. Yeah, this is really the knife that I would choose because I think it's more for a larger hand and it's more dynamic in its usage. Any knives out there or brands that you would recommend? I'd love to hear it. Have you tried Normandy knives before? I'd like to hear what your opinion is, your assessment is of their watches, or excuse me, of their knives, watches. I was just thinking about my watch there for a second, brain fart. But yeah, no, check them out. I'll leave the description down the bottom, like I said, and see if you find yourself a new knife. And continuing on with the expo, we launched our Heritage collection for our beard oils, and here is one of them. This is our Highlands, which has pine, cherry, and birch. And it's one of those smells that most to any people have never smelt before. It's really, I wouldn't call it even fruity. It's just very foresty. But not the foresty in the sense of a pine or a vetiver. It's more of the, yeah, like birch and pine combined, like a real forest smell. And the cherry kind of just breaks up the birch and the pine to make it very inviting. And we had a really good crowd that really enjoyed the scent, and was probably the best selling of the new Heritage ones right off the bat. And yeah, so this should be up on our website in the next day or two, or it may already be up there. I haven't looked today, but if you're interested in trying some very unique smells of American and Scottish heritage, just to go over them really quickly, this is the Highland one. It's got pine, cherry, and birch. Also, we have the Spring Awakening. So that's going to be more summer smell, like more floral. It's got thistle and heather. And it's funny, I've never smelled heather before. And when somebody asks me what heather smells like, my response is, name your favorite smelling flower other than a rose, and that's what it smells like. Because if you have no place of reference, it's kind of like your brain travels to whatever type of flower that is similar to the smell. Like, I think it smells more like a lilac smell or a lily smell. Dakota thinks it smells more like a dandelion. And then I've heard somebody else will say it smells like a daisy. So it just depends on what your smell is. Also, we have the two American side ones. So we had two Scottish and two American. And the American side, we did the Americano, which has coffee and vanilla. So basically about 3 hours of coffee. So perfect to enjoy with your coffee or just thereafter. And then it kind of transitions into a vanilla for the rest of the day. So you're not smelling like coffee the whole day, but you have that cool transition, and it's very welcoming. Also, we had the Vanilla Orange Swirl. That was the second most popular one at that specific expo. It basically smells like an orange Julius. You have orange citrus and vanilla as the scent profiles. It smells really good, and it really reminds me of summer, or what I would think summer is supposed to smell like in the States. It's not apple pie. Sorry, can't make it apple pie like out of essential oils. But coming back to Orange Julius really reminds me of the 80s, 90s, and like 2000s when that was a very popular one. I don't know if it's 100% popular with the Gen Z and the Alpha as far as the scent goes. I also would say that it may not be popular just because that scent is, and the taste is not as relevant now as it was then. But it smells really good. It smells like summer, and highly would suggest trying it out for the summer. And we'll be running some deals. Speaking of deals, if you want to jump into our newsletter, if you're not on our newsletter already, it's free to sign up, and it's free to unsubscribe, but it keeps you up to date what KILT Beard Co. is working on and what we're doing, our social media, our products. It's going to have exclusive deals, just the newsletter that you will not find on social media or anywhere else, and just welcoming to help you get you the best information to have the best beer possible. And yeah, so check out our Heritage Collection. It's really exciting. It's one of those ones that make a statement as far as being different than everybody else, and it all has a story behind it. So if you can get behind some American smells of coffee, Orange Julius, and you want to explore some new scents of Scotland, I would highly encourage you to get all four. But yeah, try something new. I guarantee you'll like it. Also, just an FYI, we were pushing out our outdoor bivouac, and I'm pushing this because I think every man needs this. And really, my mouth's going dry. 1 second. Really, it's out of the box thinking, and when we start to explain to people the reason why this beard oil exists, it kind of starts to make more and more sense after you really think about it and place yourself outdoors, spring, summer, early fall maybe, depending where you are in the country, and with an earthy smell. And when I mean earthy smell, it's cedarwood and lemongrass as the top and bottom notes. It also has eucalyptus and I believe peppermint in there too, to engage with other carrier oils that are naturally made to keep bugs away. And we put about 6 different oils in there to keep bugs away, because what may keep a fly away may not keep a mosquito away, etc. like that, gnats, etc. like that. And I put the residue, or if you want to call it residue, the leftovers from when you put it through your beard, I put it on my skin, and it keeps the bugs away. And funny story, last year in Wisconsin, we gave this like a strong test. We went up there in late July, so still wet season up there, and put it through my beard. I put the rest on my arms and wrists, and I went the whole day, or not the whole day, about a half a day. And I got no bites, no nothing, except for my ankles, because I had put nothing on my ankles. Those things got ate the F up, dude. And my wrists were great, my arms were great, my back and my neck was great, my beard was great. I had no bugs. I wasn't swatting around or anything like that. And it's just one of those unique approaches that KILT Beard Co. tries to think about when we think about the beard and the man in their day-to-day. Make sure you have that number one thing of keeping the beard and skin moisturized, and what the purpose of that beard oil to that man in their phase, this phase being outdoors or enjoying the outdoors, and for us it's keeping bugs away. So if you ever try to spray DEET in your beard, it tastes gross for one thing. It'll leave your beard crunchy for another thing, and it's just not the best thing to put a chemical in your face all like that, in my opinion. I think most people would agree with it once you think about it. So try it all natural way, and your beard will thank you. So, hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And if you have a moment, subscribe and give a thumbs up before you sign off. And if you can, sign up for KILT Beard Co.'s newsletter to stay up to date on products, news, and everything else in between. And with that, cheers. Be safe out there. And, of course, be amazing. Bye now.